Oh, geez. Bang Zoom. What a tremendous feeling it is to be alive on this planet and to be able to host the show. By the way, it's the Jeff Richards Show, and I'm filling in for Jeff. My name is Dave Letterman, and this is sort of a special show because my guest today is Jay Leno, and for those of you who know Jay Leno, you know Jay Leno. How's it going, Jay?
Oh, it's going good. It's all right. Just getting over Omicron. But the funny thing about Omicron is that when COVID first hit, everybody was there were a lot of people that were self-diagnosing themselves, right? I've been blinking a lot lately, right? I've been peeing standing up, and I'm a woman, right? I don't have a penis, but I'm standing up and I'm peeing, and maybe it's got to be COVID, right? I developed a cocaine addiction,
This That's what I was about to say to you. I was like,
Sure.
Is it Adderall? Is it cocaine? Is it Folgers?
Well, look, the best part of waking up is getting a blowjob, but after that, it's Folgers coffee.
Keep it clean here. I have the beard, and you have the chin, but that doesn't mean we need to take advantage of the people that are watching.
All right. The Google over here.
And by the way, this is my show, and I'm hosting it, and I'm going to ask you the questions.
All right.
And you're going to be hopefully diligent and forthright and observant.
I do want to begin. I do want to ask you one question though, Dave, before we get going here. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I'm just kidding. What do you want to talk about? I'm just kidding.
You're always trying to get the joke in on me. Now, I want to talk about your car collection.
Sure.
You have an semblance of wild, exotic, ridiculous cars.
Right.
I've seen a 1921 fire engine, and who needs to own a 1921 fire engine? It just seems a little excessive.
Sure, and I can understand, Dave, why you would say that, but it's also, you never know when you're going to be driving around the city and needing to, get somewhere a little bit quicker, and whether it's a fire truck or, I recently bought. I'm on a real nostalgia kick right now. I just bought the Ninja Turtles van. I outbid Nicolas Cage for the Ninja Turtles van, the original Ninja Turtles van that they would, have pizza parties in, defeat the Foot Clan, all that stuff. I bought that. I bought the original Batmobile. I bought the original Bang Bus. The original Bang Bus that the Bang Bros.
You got to be kidding me! You own the Bang Bus?
I own the Bang Bus, Dave. Yeah, it was not as
You've got
expensive.
to be joking.
No,
you've just got to be.
I wish I was, Dave. I wish I was.
It just feels like you might be joking around, like it can't be something that was true.
It's a collector's item, Dave.
My second question to you, and I guess it's part of what we're talking about.
Sure.
I know that you break down at different points of Los Angeles and outside of Los Angeles. Your cars break down. Now, do they really break down, or are you just pretending like they're breaking down?
Well, I've got road rage, Dave, and road rage is one of those things that as a stand-up comedian, we are on the road a lot, right? When you know about this life, and you're always in a different city, right? Always trying to get to know, what's around you. How many Paneras are in this city, right? How many, is there a KFC nearby, right? Is there a brothel? Maybe I can, go hand out some flyers for the show. I'm just kidding. I would never go to a brothel again, but I do think
it's the food. It's the food, then the brothel, though, isn't it? You wouldn't do it the other way around.
Oh, I got to go to a brothel. I can't go to a brothel on an empty stomach, Dave. I've always said that. That was my high school yearbook quote. I said, Jay Leno, I said, thanks for the memories. I can never go to a brothel on an empty stomach, Jay Leno. But my cars break down. My cars break down, and I don't know how to fix them. I call AAA, and they come down and they fix the car. They go, Mr. Leno, this is happening a lot, Mr. Leno, right? And I go, I don't think I like your attitude, Roger. And then we exchange emails and such. And I always, Dave, every new car I buy is it's kind of like it's like a new wife, right? Right? You trade the old one in for the new one, right?
Yeah.
And the door's a little slipperier, right? And there's heated seats, right? There's heated seats, and there's a sunroof so that you can fantasize about a better life.
When was the last time you talked to Ellen Kusnnik?
About 15 minutes ago.
So you're in contact with the woman, and what?
Sure,
how
sure.
would you describe your relationship now?
Lofty.
Like throwing a softball.
Yeah, it's a very. it's got a slow start, right? And then kind of flies up in the air, over your head. You look at it for a second, you go, oh, I wonder when this is going to come down, right? And then whack,
I have to tell you, the microphone is climbing up your chin, and
I'll keep
we
it down
have
here,
to.
Dave. My wife just bought me this microphone. She buys everything for me, Dave. She buys my clothes, she buys my towels, right? She buys my coupons for the brothel. I'm just kidding.
She wants you out of the house.
Yeah, she wants. Hey,
yeah.
with all I get it, Tubi. That's why I collect the cars. I do the Jay Leno garage thing. I do the game show now, the show where people guess the I do that, and then stand up comedy still my first love, Dave. It's the rush of being on stage is something I'll never it's like when you get into a hot tub for the first time and you lock eyes with a stranger from across the hot tub. Like if you're like at a La Quinta Inn, Dave. You seem like a guy that stays at a La Quinta Inn every now and then. Yeah?
Well, I've been to the establishment. I don't know how many times, and every time I go, it's a gentle. It's a gentle. How are you, Mr. Letterman? Would you like another towel or a moistette or a piece of chocolate that they only give out once a day, but they'll give you another one. It just is quite the experience. And incidentally, the sponsor of today, La Quinta, everywhere you go, La Quinta, it's there.
Yeah, they really are. In every city, Dave, there's a La Quinta, and La Quinta is actually Spanish for. Hey, we're going to knock twice, but we're already going to be inside the door when we knock because we don't have any tact or self-awareness. That's what La Quinta means in Spanish. The Google Dolls are here.
What would you attribute your speaking pattern? Because I'm listening to you talk, and we haven't spent this much time together in quite a long time, and I'm watching you talk. There's something squiggly about you. There's something
I appreciate that.
You just can't put your finger on it, and maybe you don't want to put your finger on it. How would you describe yourself?
Or put your finger in it, Dave, which is who said that? E.T., right? And I think he was onto something. A lot of my influences, Dave, comedically are fictional characters. Actually, Waldo from Where's Waldo, right? That guy's always on the move, and that's kind of how I live my life, Dave. I don't like to be stuck in one place. Whether I'm buying a new car or getting a new flavor of frozen yogurt at TCBY, I try to keep things moving, right? And my wife knows that about me. I'm in one room, I take a poo in one room, I take a pee in the other shower, right? And that's just kind of how I do things.
If you're going to be doing things, would you mind keeping the microphone? Well, now it's down. If it's blocking your chin, people are not going to know who I'm talking to. Does that make enough sense to you?
All right.
So you're doing the show. You Bet Your Life, and
Right.
don't you have enough money? Don't you have enough reserve to be able to say no to something like this?
Yeah, you would think so, Dave. But I love to work. I love to work, and I love I love people, and I love game shows, and I love I love. You can never have too much money, Dave. Because when the apocalypse does come, right, and it will. I listen to Joe Rogan, right, and I know that there's something coming. And whether they're already here and they're just plotting the next move, or you want to be prepared, and I think money helps you prepare, right? I want to buy another helicopter. I want to buy a secret cave or a dungeon. Or you ever see that movie Blank Check? It was a Disney movie. It's about this 14-year-old boy who gets hit on his bicycle, and the guy writes him a blank check, and he does some Photoshop work and writes a check for $1 million for himself. And then you ask yourself, Dave, you go, what would I do with $1 million? And this fucking kid, he not only does he buy a pizza and a limo driver and a bouncy house, but there's a 35-year-old secret agent that's trying to fuck him. So the Google Dolls.
It's just luck of the draw, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's you never know how the cookie's going to crumble, Dave. You never know if you're going to roll a Yahtzee or Uno. You just kind of draw. You take the deck of cards you were handed, and I was handed a pretty good deck of cards, Dave. Starting out in stand-up comedy in Boston, we had a lot of Dunkin' Donuts. I used to get those mini. They call them, I think, little dwarfs, the little mini donuts, right? Which is now you can't say that, right? Now you get canceled. You get bitch slapped at the Oscars if you say that. The Google Dolls are here.
Did you just say the Goo Goo Dolls are here?
Yeah, Dave, I did the Tonight Show for 20 years, right? 20 years, Dave. I was on the Tonight Show doing jokes and introducing bands and actors so they could promote, all their stuff. And the Goo Goo Dolls were a frequent guest, a fan favorite. And, it just kind of gets into your subliminal subconscious. You get conditioned after a while, Dave, to just start announcing people that aren't even there in the room. I'll be performing cunnilingus on my wife, and I'll just say, Avril Lavigne is here, right? And she's like, well, it feels like it. It feels like it is what my wife will say. It feels like she's here.
We'll be right back. In so many words.
All right.
It feels like you're doing fine. You're doing well, and you look like you've been not holding back with the food. You look like you've been consuming enough food.
Yeah, I'm a big Lunchables guy right now, Dave. I like throwback snacks, right? Throwback Dunkaroos, Lunchables, Jello pudding pops, right? And I know it's not. Probably progressive of me to still support Bill Cosby, but I don't think he gets residuals off the Jello pudding pops. I don't think.
Did you just say? Did you just say throwback snacks?
Throwback snacks, Dave. Yeah.
Now, is that something you coined yourself, or is that what they're saying now?
Well, I wouldn't know how to go about patenting a catchphrase, Dave. I mean, that feels like more of a Tony Robbins thing. Tony Robbins is brilliant at marketing and branding, and that's the guy that gets up on a podium and screams, if you can fit your whole fist inside your mouth, why can't you start a business, or whatever the fuck he said. I haven't been to one of his seminars, but, I'm just joking around. The Google all the here. But no, he does
know what I like? Let me just stop you for a second. What I like about you is there is an energy to you that is unprecedented. There's something, I don't know which of those things you were joking about doing, whether it was the cocaine or it was the Adderall, but whatever you're doing, it's creating a rapid fire Jay Leno. And I just have to say I enjoy that, and I thank you for that.
Of course. Yeah, well, my cadence in stand-up comedy was always very, I try to keep things moving, like I said, Dave. It's, I want to get to the joke.
No, but there's a difference between moving and flying down the highway. You're flying down the highway.
Sure. Well, when I'm on the freeway, like I told you, I got road rage, Dave. If somebody cuts me off, I flick them off, and I follow them for a couple exits. Just a couple weeks ago, I was going to Chuck E. Cheese, Dave, in the middle of the day to get some pizza and watch a show. Also, I wanted to see if they would allow me to buy the Chuck E. Cheese mobile, right, that the animatronic band travels in, And so I put a bid out on that, and they said, it's not for sale. And I said, well, anything is for sale. Who said that, And Veruca Salt's dad from Willy Wonka said that. He said, hey, Wonka, name your price. Name your price, Wonka. My daughter wants a golden goose. Name your price. And so, I just feel like, Dave, that if you have money...
I want to Oompa Loompa now.
Right.
Does that sound like her? Does that sound like that Veruca Salt? Well, I want an Oompa Loompa now.
I'll get one for you.
Does that sound like her?
I'll talk to Wonka right now, Veruca, and see if I can get you a golden goose.
No, Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa now.
Well, Veruca, I can't buy a person. I can't buy a little person. Let's start with trying to buy the Everlasting Gobstopper, and if I can buy a person... And I don't really do voices, Dave, but I just feel like we're having some fun, though. But if you were to...
You do something.
If you were to
do
buy
something.
Well, Dave, I got to know, if you were to buy an Oompa Loompa, how much would you pay? It's just that old question. If you could... How much would it, if you could solve world hunger, everyone's talking about this right now. If you could solve world hunger by blowing yourself, would you do it?
It depends. It depends if there's throwback snacks.
We'll be right back. That's good, Dave. That's a callback. That's a throwback snack callback.
Oh, geez. Let's get into some different things. I know that you only sleep 4 hours a night, and I'm wondering how you do that.
With my eyes open, Dave.
To what extent?
With my eyes open, yeah. Yeah, with my eyes open. Yeah. You hear about this? I sleep 4 hours a night with my eyes open. Yeah. Just to make sure that when my wife comes in with a turkey pot pie, that I can eat it.
So you're telling me that you eat the turkey pot pie inside your bedroom? Is that what I gather?
Sure. I mean, Dave, I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. But I think, my wife, she's not much of a chef, all right? And I wish I had married, Martha Stewart or Chef Boyardee, somebody that's got a culinary background, right? But my wife, she comes in late night. She goes, hey, here's a bowl of Cheerios. I put some ketchup on it, right? Here's some Snackwell's cookies, right? Some Snackwell's cookies. You hear about this? Snackwell's cookies, she'll say. You hear about this? I just bought some Snackwell's cookies. And I go, well, where's the chicken pot pie you were talking about earlier, right? And then I'll go to sleep, eyes open. Sometimes she just thinks I'm dead. She'll call 911 and they'll come over and they'll eat the turkey pot pie with us. It's a great time. So,
I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss. I thought we'd be talking about things, such as what role did you play in getting me to not get the Tonight Show job, and then you taking out Conan. So it's
Sure,
like
sure.
a double wham bam. What do you think that is? Should I be upset? Should I have moved on?
Well, Dave, it's an interesting question, and a lot of people, when they talk to me in interviews, and I'm doing press for the game show, right? For you can't say that or whatever the fuck my show is called. What's it called again? My show, the one I host,
It's called. Hold on a second.
password or something, or don't say it.
No,
Don't
something
don't
to. Oh,
don't do.
you bet your life.
You bet your life. That's what it is. You bet your life, which a lot of people
But
would
you
not.
don't exactly bet your life though, do you? I mean,
Well, no,
I
it's a
mean,
figure of speech, Dave. No one's going to go on a show on daytime talk show, television, and bet their life. I mean, there's the old saying, "You bet your ass," right? Which I think came from a high stakes poker game where some guy was wanted to go all in, right? Didn't have enough to cover it. His watch wasn't going to do it. His Gucci
Yeah.
shirt wasn't going to do it, and so somebody at the poker game said, "Well, what about your anal virginity, right?" And then they said, "Well, you bet your ass, Cameron," and he's like, I think I'm going to. That's the only way I can stay in the game, right? If I bet my ass. So, and then ultimately you lose out. You got to call your wife. You got to say, I learned some things about myself tonight. I'm not a very good poker player, for one, and I'm actually the butt is actually a way comfier place for me sexually. So it's when you go out with your friends.
Now, hold on a second. This is a wild leap in your personality and the way that you present yourself to be talking
Sure,
about, the buttocks and the butthole. It's just a strange thing to watch you do, and it doesn't feel quite right. And then you're also on the Adderall, so that presents a bit of a juxtaposition.
Sure.
And so you're talking about buttholes, and you're on drugs. And I'm sitting here and I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but it doesn't feel copacetic.
Well, it's like the corn nuts jingle, Dave. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, right? Or is that corn nuts, or is that?
Yeah, but sometimes you just keep your nuts in your pants, and sometimes if you want a Zag nut bar, you go out and get it, but you don't have to look through the kitchen trying to find where the chiclets are.
I was on a trip to Turks and Caicos with Matt Lauer, and John Lithgow, right? Matt Lauer and John Lithgow, and we took a private plane to Turks and Caicos, right? And the flight was a little bumpy. And Dave, I travel a lot. I take the private jets from Boston to New York to Los Angeles to Glendale, Arizona, right? And we're on the plane. It starts shaking, and John Lithgow is. I didn't know this about John Lithgow, Dave. Very afraid of turbulence. The plane starts shaking, and I kid you not, John Lithgow closed his eyes and says this, "Oh my God, we're going down, Harry." He started screaming for Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, the movie he was in. And I had to tell him right there, point blank, John.
Would you mind doing that again? It was fantastic to see.
Well,
Can
I don't
you do it
do-
one more time?
I don't
Well,
do
you just
impressions,
did
Dave.
it. You just did it. Can you do it one more time? Do you
So
mind?
we're on this private jet, right? John Travolta's so kind to let us borrow his plane, right? It's the Danny Zuko 2000, right? And we're flying through the sky, just Greece is the word, It's got moves, it's got feeling, right? We're singing along the song, right? We're having we're doing the Grease Lightning dance, right? We're having some Capri Suns, right? We're smoking some crack, and we're just having a good time talking about Epstein and if he's alive and all that, And we start Zooming with Ellen, right? We do a Zoom call with Ellen, and we're just kind of chatting, and she's telling us how she's gay and stuff, and so we're having a good time, right? And we're flying through the skies, and then the plane starts to shake, Dave. And again, I'm fine with turbulence. I've traveled all the time, but John Lithgow closes his eyes, reclines in the seat, and goes, "Oh no, Harry!" And he started screaming for Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. And I had to tell him right there, Dave. I go, Bigfoot isn't real. There's nobody,
This is the greatest thing. You should have done this years ago on the Tonight Show. Just do some Adderall and just come at you with all nuts and butts and things
coconuts.
and such.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that thing, Dave?
Coconuts.
In elementary school, with no cuts, no butts, no coconuts. And that would people would say that if someone tried to cut you in line, you're waiting. Let's say it's Pizza Boat Friday, right, at Lake Forest Park Elementary, right? Pizza Boat. Well, So I've got an allergic
You
reaction
okay,
to the.
Jay?
Well, I'm on some antibiotics right now. I stubbed my toe and I pinched my urethra on my jeans. So I'm on some
You
antibiotics.
pinch your urethra?
I pinched my
Is
urethra.
that what you said?
Yeah, and I know it sounds like
No,
a great.
talk about the broken toe, Jay, because this is something we have not addressed, and I know it bums you out a little bit, but you just broke your toe. Am I wrong? Yesterday you broke your toe.
So I was walking around my neighborhood, right? I like to do it every morning, Dave. I don't know how you start your day, but I walk outside. I smile at the sun. I go, it's gonna be a great day, right? I'm Jay Leno, right? That's already pretty cool, right? So I start walking around. I hit up my wife and I go, hey, you want to get some brokers, some bagel brokers on Postmates, right? So she orders the cheese sandwich. And we get the cheese sandwich. I think we get the one. Yeah. And the cheese sandwich comes in, and I run like a fat kid who smells meatballs on Easter Sunday, right? And I start running up the hill, which was I'm not in great shape. I'm not in bad shape, Dave, but I'm running up the hill, and I got a lot of change in my Patagonia jacket, right? I love Patagonia jacket. Real quick, shout out to Patagonia, right? You hear about this, Dave? Patagonia is now the world leader in comfy coats. If you want to put some loose change in the pocket, so I'm running up the hill.
Can I just say quickly about Patagonia? It's just the fabric. I don't know if it's cotton. I don't know if it's Krylon.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's Maybelline. You know?
Maybe it's Maybelline, but I doubt that it's Maybelline. But there's something about it that it just doesn't look like it would be rainproof. But then it's completely and totally rainproof.
Oh, I was once in
it's tremendous.
I was once in a hailstorm, Dave, and I was just getting chucked in the fucking eyeballs with all sorts of ice balls, right? Ice balls to the eyeballs, and there was a couple little, Israeli kids that were that noticed my jacket, right, from Jay Leno garage, and then they started just throwing these ice balls at me, screaming, fuck, you piece of shit, right? And fuck, what'd you do to Conan, right?
Jake, what's with the language? What's with the disobedience? What's with the general malign? You're the type of creature that if you're trying to put them in an eyeglass, you're just not going to be able to do it. And
right, I get that.
You're a wild animal. I mean, you used to be a company man. You used to be taking the orders and saying what you're supposed to say and not doing anything necessarily different or provocative. Why am I looking at you thinking, this is someone that became now, I think, a little out of control?
Well, I'm still a company man, Dave. I mean, there's so many different products that have hit me up over the last couple of years, right? Windex just reached out. They want to do a sponsored branding deal where I basically make a couple, Instagram stories and, do some bullshit with some Windex, and spray the windows and clean them up and then go, hey, your windows are dirty, right? But if you get some Windex in your life, you got clean windows. You can see through the window, the affair that's happening across the street, right? Because everyone, at some point in their life, Dave, is going to witness an affair, right? Whether it's on TV, on an episode of CSI Miami, right, or it's on Jay Leno's garage. Sometimes we'll be filming, the cameras are running, and we'll catch an episode of Cheaters filming right across the street, and I'll get my guys to go film the episode of Cheaters for some B-roll, right? Just to kind of put in there, be like, oh, here's the 19.
I just thought you said cheetahs. I thought you were talking about
Cheaters,
a strip club.
Cheaters. Well, Cheaters is a great strip club. The celery sticks there are point blank. I go to the strip clubs for the food. A lot of people go for the dancing and the butts and stuff. But I'm more of a midday buffet guy, right? And for sure, if you see a couple ladies who are trying to put their kid through college, that's fine by rubbing what they got. But and I don't judge, Dave. Even OnlyFans, I got no problem with. I got no problem. I got a couple accounts, and I'm just trying to enjoy my week.
I'm just blown away. I'm completely blown away that I haven't seen you in so long and talked to you and be on the Zoom with you.
It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you, but in some ways it's not good to see you. At some point, I think that you have to get in check with yourself, maybe some sort of transcendental meditation or maybe just yogurt. I don't know how you start and I don't know where you go to, but I feel for you. But I will say this, the thing about the Adderall is you'll lose that weight.
Right, and
there's something to think about. You're going to lose that gut and those bulbous shoulders.
Well, the shoulders are actually
those tits. You clearly have a set of tits.
My wife likes my tits, Dave. You know, look,
Well,
the dad
I'm
bod-
not saying that I'm not saying that they're not to be liked or even desired. I'm just saying they are tits.
look,
You have tits.
yeah, good tits. I got tits. The Google dolls are here, but I got tits.
Why are the Google dogs here? Why are the Google dogs? I can't even say it. Why are the Google dogs here? Why are the Google dogs here?
Who let the Google dog? Who let the Google dogs out? Right?
Who let them out? And more importantly, who rescued them?
Well, who put them in? That's the question, right? Who let them out? But who put them in the first place? Exactly. Who rescued the Baja men, and who let the dogs out? Right? These are the questions, and this is why I wanted to stay on the air for so long. There's so many other questions we haven't answered, Dave. Right? Like how many penguins are left in the world? Right? How many times can you break your toe before you realize?
Go. What did you just say?
Well, how many times can you break your toe just from walking around your house and running up to get an egg sandwich from bagel brokers? And how many times can you break your toe before you just decide to cut your whole fucking foot off? I don't even need the toe anymore. So
Listen, it doesn't matter the wherewithal, the supply and demand, the registration of it all.
Sure.
If you've broken your toe, and if you're sure you broke your toe, and a lot of people think they broke their toe and they haven't broke their toe.
Well, it's all black and blue. It's purple.
Kind of,
no, it's broken, Dave. I mean, I jostled it, I jiggled it, I wiggled it, I flicked it, I flicked it, I nudged it, I sucked it. Look, there's a lot of things that you can do with a toe, and when it's broken, you're limited, right? It's like that old saying, right? Again, to not to misquote Tony Robbins, but he, so famously said, if you can cross your eyes and cross your arms, and cross your toes at the same time, you're onto something. So. We're having a good time, Dave. It's fun. It's fun. It's good to see you. What is that, a Kansas City Royals sweatshirt? What is that?
This is the Kansas City Royals. This is a baseball team. And this is, of course, the Los Angeles Rams.
I threw out the first pitch at the Yankee Stadium in 1985, right? With doing the Boston Comedy Club up there in New York City. And I threw out the first pitch, right? I met Darryl Strawberry. I met him at a bus stop before the game. And then I get on the field, and Jerry Steinbrenner there, or George Steinbrenner, whoever, one of the Brenners, right? He's Jewish, and so he's there.
But can I just say this? Can I just say this real quick about Darryl Strawberry? The interesting fact about Darryl Strawberry: doesn't like strawberries.
Well, and that's the thing.
Darryl Strawberry does not like strawberries, and you think everybody loves strawberries. Well, some people don't.
Right, and that's a good point, Dave. There's a lot of people out there. There's here's another great example. Kobe Bryant did not like Lane Bryant, the women's clothing store. Didn't like it.
Well, maybe he never did. Do we even know if he went into the store? I mean, was it?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They didn't they didn't like it. Not everything has to have a beginning, a middle, and end, Dave. Sometimes you just say some stuff just to say it, right? You've ever done that, right? You ever just walk into a sauna? You ever just walk into a sauna, right? Look at another grown man in a towel, right, naked from the waist up, and you look at him and you go.
I don't go into saunas. I don't go into saunas with men. I don't know what you're into. Well, and you can be into whatever you're into, but I myself, if I go into a sauna, I want it to be me in the sauna. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but if it's a public sauna, Dave, I mean, you can't really control who goes in the sauna and who comes out. It's just like who let the dogs out.
But then maybe the question is, what are you doing going into a public sauna? What exactly is Jay Leno doing in a public sauna? That would be something to think about, and maybe that would be the question to try to unravel. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if I'm eating a Lunchable, Dave, and I'll usually eat 4 to 17 different Lunchables in one sitting, right? And the meat, it's not real meat, Dave. So when you get meat sweats from a Lunchable, that's processed meat sweats that you're having. So you got to get in the sauna to sweat it out, sweat out the toxins. And I like to strike up conversation. I do jaywalking in the sauna. I'll go to a guy, I go, what's your favorite type of soup? And he'll go, broccoli cheddar. And I go, is that why you're hard? The Google all there.
Okay, that's strange, and even more strange. Bringing up the Google dolls at that particular point would seem almost more telling than your tits.
Well, I've said it before, Dave, and I'll say it again. You wake up in the morning, right, and the alarm sets off a warning, and you think you're going to make it on time. But by the time I grab my books and I give myself a look, I'm at the corner just in time to see the bus drive by. It's all right because I'm Saved by the Bell.
That one was pretty good. No, that one
around.
was pretty good. That one you just did. The one you just did just now. Boy, that one was pretty good.
Well,
Not
we're saving
bad.
it up.
Nice going. Good for you. Good going.
Mark Paul
Bang
Gossler.
zoom.
Mark Paul Gossler bet me $15. He said, "I bet you can't sing the whole song on Dave's I bet you can't sing it, right?" So I said, I'm gonna do it, and Screech also was a dear friend of mine, rest in peace. But that guy, he had some demons, Dave. We all have demons and obstacles to overcome. But Screech was a special kind of actor, right? He was one of those method actors that really, really he walked around, he stuffed his pants with socks and famous cookie bags, That's it. Boy, that's a tongue twister. Famous
You mean the tiny
cookie
ones?
bags.
Because there's two sizes. There's the tiny little ones that you get in the packs.
Sure.
And then of course there's the famous Amos, the giant bag,
All
which
right,
is
all right.
really just medium sized,
Right.
but bulbous enough to be able to hold a certain amount of cookies.
Well, if you can get at least 5 to 7 famous cookies in your mouth at the same time, you go into any JCPenney, they just give you a bra. They go, "You're going to need this, sir, because you got some cookie tits coming your way."
Well, just be glad you're on Adderall, Jay, and just be glad that will certainly
All right.
take the reduction that you need desperately out of your breasts.
Sure.
And I don't know your own grooming habits, but I can just imagine you're not in the shower enough scrubbing away, because a guy like you needs a certain amount of scrubbing.
Yeah, I like using a loofah. Right, I get the Old Spice or the there's different flavors of Axe body spray, right? That I'll use in the shower. There's Wolf Thorn, which I really like. There's also Hitler's Pus, right? Is another flavor. And there's
That's not a flavor, Jay.
No, it's not a flavor. I'm joking.
Come
around,
on.
man. Yeah. But they do have a lot of flavors, right? Axe body spray came out. It's like they're like the Pop-Tarts of deodorant. Every year there's a new flavor coming out. Pop-Tarts has a new flavor coming out. Do you hear what Pop-Tart? You hear about this? You hear about this, Dave? Pop-Tarts coming out. They got brown sugar, right? They got strawberry icing. They got fudge, right? And they're coming out with a new flavor. You know what it's called?
What?
WAP.
You got to be kidding me. What exactly does that stand for?
Well, it's a Nicki Minaj acronym, and it stands for wet ass pussy. They're coming out with a wet ass pussy Pop-Tart. A wet ass pussy Pop-Tart. Hey, I don't write these jokes, Dave. I got writers, so
And do people really want it wet? By the way, it just seems like things that are wet need to be wiped off. Am I wrong?
Well, there's always the cleanup. There's always the cleanup involved, Dave. And so for me,
But did you like when I did the?
Oh, that's one of my favorite
I
things.
saw you
to do,
laugh
Dave.
at that.
That's one of my favorite things to do. It's
one of the. Yeah.
I'd like to isolate that soundbite and have it be my email. Right?
Isn't it ironic that I have a beard and you still have that chin? Whereas if you had the beard on the chin, people would be looking at my chin.
I tried to grow a beard out once, Dave, but it just wasn't for me. I looked like Ted Kaczynski. Remember the Unabomber? You hear about this? Apparently, there's the Unabomber out there, Ted Kaczynski, and he's orange is the new black, but does the carpet match the drapes? Right?
And is it even carpet?
Oh, no,
Might be a question.
Well, most pubes, most carpets are made out of pubes, so that's one thing they got going for them. But it's one of these things about when you're starting a business. You gotta be scrappy. You gotta use your resources, right? No, I don't know, but
Listen,
I'm getting back out there. I'm doing stand up. I got some tour dates coming up, so we'll figure it out.
Just remember one thing. Just remember one thing, Jay. Can you just remember one damn thing for me?
Sure.
Johnny loved me more. Johnny loved me more. Do you know what that means?
Well,
Johnny loved me more.
It sounds like a country song, Dave, but I think what you're getting into, you're thinking Johnny Carson love you more. But he gave me the job. He saw me eating the Doritos on TV.
He didn't give you the job, Jay. He didn't give you the job. It wasn't
Johnny gave me the job. No, Johnny gave me. He called me up.
He wasn't.
No, he called me up. He said, I really like the way you're eating those Doritos on TV. And I said, no, I appreciate that. And he goes, well, maybe you can come by the studio and eat some chips with me. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. Bring some Doritos. They gave me a lot. They gave me a lifetime supply. They gave me a lifetime supply of nacho cheese Doritos, Dave. Yeah. You hear about this?
Let's do something. Let's play a little game. It's called Impressions. I'm gonna do you, and you do me.
Great. It sounds like a great. What do we call this game, by the way? What's it called?
I just called it Impressions because we're doing impressions.
All right.
Does that make enough sense to you?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So I'll do you first.
Here we go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's Jay Leno. I'm Jay Leno. Yeah, I'm a big bitch.
Well, I don't say that about
Okay,
myself. But,
now do me.
hey, man, hey, I'm Dave Letterman. Now, look at my dumb, stupid fucking butt face.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Is that where we're going with this?
Oh, is that where
we're going to take a dagger?
We're take a
Excuse me,
dagger.
sir.
Hey,
Excuse me,
man.
sir.
Hey,
Excuse
man.
me, sir. You're going to take a dagger and you're going to dice it into my stomach. You're going to dice it on into my stomach. I don't appreciate that, but I'm going to redo my impression of you.
Well, I like to see it.
I'm Jay Leno. I'm a big dummy. I'm
No.
Jay Leno. I'm a big dummy.
No, you sound like the mom from the Muppet Babies. You don't sound like
No,
that.
it doesn't sound like that.
The mom from the Muppet Babies, it sounded exactly like that. Here's what you sound like when you take your clothes off and you look in the mirror. Oh shit. Oh no.
That's not what I sound like.
Who's gonna want to fuck that? That's what you sound like.
It's interesting that you say that. I'll find some interest in that, but I don't think that's true, and I don't think it should be documented on things like Wikipedia. My first thought and my first cognition of your state, and again, I will testify on the behalf that you're taking too much Adderall and that you're losing touch with reality, and I also will testify that you don't look great in a hat, especially when it's backwards. And I'm not asking you to move it or change it, but there's just something about it that's unkempt.
Well, it's your opinion, and opinions are like Lunchables, right? Everyone has one. Everyone has access to one, right? But do you really want to eat it all the time, right? And most of your thoughts and opinions, Dave, I'm usually on board with. I mean, there's, a lot of things you say, I go, yeah, that could be true. That is true, right? That could be true. That is true. It might be true. It's probably not true, right? But I mean, the thing about when I read a book, Dave, I like to read the end of the book first, right? As if it's like a Bruce Willis movie, right? I like to find out what happened at the end. And then I read the beginning, and I'm pleasantly surprised, right? It's like doing a choose-your-own-adventure book, But I don't read a lot because, it's once I bought the Bang Bus, I'm just trying to get that going again, right?
And what exactly are your hopes and intentions for this Bang Bus? I mean, what's the overall game? What's the end game? Might I ask?
I'm a big fan of Bert Kreischer, the comedian, right? I love that he's always on tour with his friends, and they're always cooking, meats and cheeses in the bus, right? So I'd like to get the Bang Bus and do that, right? Bring all my friends on, but then also, in the, I don't want to throw away tradition, right? So the Bang Bus, obviously, every time they stop for gas, they pick up a new friend, they bring her in the bus, and then they start, then I'll send you some links, but so they'll have a good time in the bus, and they drop her off at the next stop, they pick up somebody else, and
Okay.
and you do that on the way to the gig,
This is entirely too much for me. I've had almost too much of this. I'm going to take a look at the card here and see what's left, if there's anything else that matters or has any particular consequence. And
ask me anything, Dave. I'm an open book.
And did we talk about did the Amish? Did we talk about the Amish? Yeah, I think we did that one. And do you have any pets? Do you have any pets?
Yeah, I've got Robert Downey Jr. Came over to my house, and he convinced me to buy a llama, right? Robert Downey Jr.'s got pretty much a small petting zoo in his house, right? He's got a lot of room for the animals. You got to have room for the animals to roam, right? So I've got a llama, right, named Jerry Garcia, right? And I've got a horse, right, named Toby Maguire, right, from Seabiscuit. And then I've got a dog named Clifford, right? But he's a black dog, because I don't see color. And
So you call him Clifford the Big Black Dog?
I do. And then I've got two cats. One called Pussy, and the other one's called Gracie. So, and they're sisters. They're sisters. So
now hold on a second. Let's just break this down. You said Pussy, and then
right,
you said
that's my cat's name.
But then there was a bit of a
Gracie.
break. You said Gracie eventually, but it seemed like you were just kind of thinking of what the cat's name is. Is that because you made up the cat's name?
Look, Dave, it's not my cat. I never wanted cats, but my wife, she's an impulse buyer, right? She'll go to Best Buy, she'll get she'll go in to get printer ink, and she'll walk out with a Tom Hanks DVD combo pack of Castaway and The Terminal, and it's like we don't need these. We don't even have a DVD player, so it's all when you get a cat, you name it, you forget about it, you leave it outside, and the cat runs away, and that and so Pussy and Gracie have been in our lives for a while now, and cats, do they have 9 lives? It depends how many times they get on the bang bus,
Jay Leno, what a complete travesty you are as not only a human being but someone that's supposed to be a role model. You talked about the bang bus. You talked about picking up women on the road. You talked about drug abuse. It seemed like you were on Adderall and cocaine. I don't know which exactly. You seem to be a little evasive, but you're definitely on some, at the very least, prescribed medication. And it just breaks my heart. At one point I could have just ripped your throat out, to lose the Tonight Show to you and to know Johnny wanted it to go to me. But then I saw what you did to Conan, and I just thought, well, this is just the guy. This is just the guy who he is. And then I get you over here, and you're talking about taking 14 to 16 Lunchables and eating them, and just that can't be good. So this is the end of the show. Do you have any social media that you want to plug? I know that you're friends with Adam Ray. Maybe he's got some links. I don't know.
Sure. Well, I like to always give updates and throw bones to anyone who can to take them and run with it. What I got a lot of help when I was coming up. I didn't just get the Doritos campaign. I had to walk into a supermarket, high as balls, open every bag of chips I could find, take one chip from each bag, and then go up to the cash register and say, I just opened a bunch of chip bags over there. You guys might want to, there's a cleanup on aisle 5, right? And then, they would arrest me and I go to jail and I have to go back to the store. They put a picture of me up and said, you can never go into this Ralph ever again. So I go, all right. I'm a Vons guy now, right? So Adam Ray's on Twitter and Instagram at Adam Ray Comedy. He's got a great podcast called About Last Night. Had a lot of fun people on it. Jeff Richards, Sandra Bullock, Bill Burr, Melissa McCarthy, Dana Carvey been on the show. And it's stand-up tour dates are at AdamRayComedy.com. He's all over the United States of America, in Denver, Kansas City, Vegas, San Diego, Seattle. Right, a lot of places he's out there doing it, and he's on a show right now called Young Rock. He plays Vince McMahon on an NBC show called Young Rock about the Rock's life. Yeah, and the Goo Goo Dolls are here, so that's great.
And the Goo Goo Dolls just left, Jay. Thank you for jumping on and coming on and being on the show and being able to open up to the degrees that you did. And I don't know anyone that I've had a better time competing against. Though, like I said, sometimes I just wanted to rip your chin right off your face.
Oh,
but
likewise.
I've held that back, and again, I don't hold anything responsible. So I look at this as a kumbaya moment and a modus operandi. And,
well, I look forward.
Yeah.
I look forward to sharing a glass of kombucha with you very soon, Dave, because you've always been there for me, right? Anytime I've had hard times, right? When we lost Pussy, a couple of years ago, I called you up. I said our cat's gone, right? And you said, who cares, right? And I said, I just need somebody to tell me that. I need somebody to be there for me. And anytime I've seen you at a barbecue or some sort of Oscars party, right? You're always the first guy I go up to and give you a big warm hug, because I can tell that you're not going to make it weird. Some guys they hug you, they make it weird. They hold on too long. They say things like good, right, when you hug them, and you can't do that anymore, right, because of the whole Me Too thing. But it's good. It's good. I'm in a good place. So.
Well, that's just fine, Jay. And remember, even if you sleep for 3 to 4 days, that's completely normal on the drugs that you're on. So don't feel guilty about that.
Everything in moderation.
I'm David Letterman. Everything in sequence and time lapse photography. For Jay Leno, I'm David Letterman. This is Jeff Richards Show, and for more of the Jeff Richards Show, you can go to thejeffrichardshow.com. And sign up for the Patreon if you're interested in that. And we'll see you next time.
It's my show, but I'm never there. It's my